Good morning, everyone. Hope you're all doing well. We are live and alive on today, Thursday, the 27th of March. So what are we doing today? Today, we're going to go back to brewing a Commander deck. There weren't actually too many spoilers from Khans or from Target Dragonstorm, so we might save them for tomorrow. See if there's enough to do a final push of things getting spoiled. Yes, Meow, we're already live. I tried to give you a warning, darling. Come on. Come say hello. We're building Elf Dredge today. I know, Elf Dredge. Trust me, it works. I know, yes, it sounds weird. You come here, come on. Come on, your audience is waiting, darling. Hello. Don't worry, everyone, we have the cat. Yes, so, Elf Dredge. Let's talk about the commander before we talk about how this deck is going to work. So the commander of this deck is going to be Abomination of Llanowar. It is 1 and a Golgari for a star legendary creature, Elf Horror. It has Vigilance, Menace, and its power and toughness are each equal to the number of elves you control plus the number of elf cards in your graveyard. So, what are we doing with this deck? So this is a deck I've had in the past, and I really liked it, but I took it apart. I did a big cleanup of my decks about 12 months ago. Just took apart everything I wasn't immediately playing. And yeah, I don't have an elf deck right now. And I miss this deck. This deck was really cool. Because it combines things I love. It combines elves with dredge. So, why are we doing this? So the game plan of this deck is fill up the graveyard as quickly as possible. And we're going to use dredges for that. There is actually, oddly, a number of elves that are discard outlets. Surprisingly, there's a decent number of elves that are discard outlets. So we're going to be using those, plus a bunch of dredges, and using that to fill up our graveyard to make Abomination of Llanowar massive. We also have some reanimation stuff in here, which isn't in the sections here, but we'll add it in to bring stuff back from the graveyard, like maybe like a cheeky Living Death, bring all our elves back in one turn, swing, attack, we love that. Yeah. The plan is make Abomination of Llanowar massive and swing with it. Also, because it is an elf deck, we can, if we don't draw the dredgy discard part of the deck, we can just elf ball them out of the game. There's still a ton of cool elf cards that we can run. So this is somewhere between a graveyard shenanigansy deck and an elf matters deck with a ability to kill our opponents with a massive Voltron commander. So we love that. That is all great. So we have our sections. We're going to start going through these in a moment. So this is a base. Again, I put these in because this is how I build decks, and it means that if you want to copy this deck or build it yourself, you can just fill in the sections. If you don't, so like say you don't like the discard outlets I picked, for example, you can change them to cards that you like. Or the ramp you disagree with, but you still want to build the deck, you can just change the 10 bits I picked for the 10 bits that you have. Either the bits that you like or the bits that you own. That's kind of how we're going to be doing it today. Yes, my cat is so sleepy. Oh, you taste of fish. Marvelous. All right. So we have our commander. Let's jump in. So the first thing we're going to do is work on our dredges. So this should be pretty straightforward. We're in Scryfall. Let's search for some dredges. I really love Dredge. It's a phenomenal mechanic. Print Dredge 7, you cowards. Give me more. It is fantastic at filling up the graveyard. There isn't. I don't think. Unfortunately, there is a single elf with Dredge as of yet. No, that is incredibly disappointing. But how Dredge works is that basically you replace. If you would draw a card, you can replace that by returning the card with Dredge from your graveyard to your hand and milling the Dredge number. So Golgari Gravetroll is the best Dredger because it is Dredge 6. It has the highest Dredge number. So if you would draw a card, you may mill 6 cards instead and return this to your hand. So the Dredger comes back to your hand. This works with the discard outlets. By the discard outlets puts it back into the graveyard. We don't have to put it into play and sack it or attack with it or die or anything like that. The Dredge or the discard outlet help us put the Dredger in the graveyard. We then draw a card, self-mill draw section. And that's any card you draw. It can be the first one you draw at the start of your turn. It can be other ones if you're drawing cards other ways. You replace that draw with a Dredge, and everything goes to your graveyard, and you just fill up your graveyard really quickly. I'm assuming they must have errated the mill part. I don't think it was it. No, Golgari Dredge didn't have the explanation for rules on it for dredging originally. Yeah, they've been errated to be mill, but that's a nice little touch. So we're going to go for 8 dredges. Let's go top to bottom in terms of tier ranking. Tier 1. Actually, the best one's probably Life from the Loam. Life from the Loam, 1 and a green. Return 3 land cards from your graveyard to your hand. Dredge 3. One of the things with Dredge is that because you're replacing your... generally, you're replacing your draw step. So you're not drawing a card on your draw step. The main downside of that is you tend to be down on lands a little bit. That's what Life from the Loam is great at. It will give you... You dredge Life from the Loam back, you're still filling up your graveyard, but then you cast it and you get your next 3 land drops. Life from the Loam is very important. Golgari Dredge is the highest number. And it's also a very big creature itself when it comes into play. Third best is Impy with Dredge 5. Then we're going to go... we're going to say Dark Blast. You can do some cool stuff with Dark Blast. It's less good in Commander, because -1/-1 is not as impactful. But you can do stuff like you can Dark Blast a creature on their upkeep, then dredge it back. Or it goes to their graveyard, then dredge it back, and then give a creature another -1/-1. But because importantly this is an instant, you can put it into the graveyard very easily. You just need a target in play. That's very good. So we have 4. Shambling Shell next. Shambling Shell's got a bit better as they... this is one more for Vintage because it pitches to Grief and the Endurance, I guess. Or no, there's the Green Force is important in Vintage because it can get rid of like artifacts and stuff. So important card, and also it's a zombie, and there are some effects in. There's some cool effects that care about zombies leaving your graveyard, which means Shambling Shell has got a little bit better recently. Right, Golgari Thug, we're going to put in... We don't like Golgari Thug, it is a necessity, because it has the annoying thing of when it dies, put target creature card from your graveyard on top of your library. We don't really want creatures on top of our library, we want creatures in our library. If we're casting Golgari Thug, then things have gone dreadfully wrong. So I think at this point we have 6, let's just go in... Let's just get the high number. So we want your Dredge 3, Greater Moss Dog. Again, when the chances of us casting Greater Moss Dog is very slim. Then I think we're on the Dredge 2s next. We only want 1 more. We're going to go with Golgari Ground Scale. This is when it's put into your graveyard. When it's put into your hand from your graveyard, you gain 2 life. This one's nice. So you might be wondering, oh, but Graveshell Scarab is a rare. Dredge 1 is so anemic, it's kind of pointless. Like, it's incredibly pointless. Golgari Ground Scale will gain us some life as we're moving it between zones. We'll put in Dark Exactmore Salvage as a land, because it's free to run. Still a very solid card. Okay, now Dredger, greatest disappointment of all time. Doesn't actually dredge. Although I don't hate Necroplasm, actually. Maybe we should be running this as well. At the beginning of your upkeep, put a plus 1 counter on Necroplasm. At the beginning of your end step, destroy each creature with converted mana cost equal to the number of plasma counters on Necroplasm. Ah, yes. This is sort of a board wipe. It's sort of utility, but we are still an elf deck, and this will destroy all of our mana dorks immediately. That's why we're not running this one. All right, let's do some discard. So we have our dredgers. The dredgers are how we are milling up our graveyard, how we're fueling Abomination of Llanowar, but we need some discard outlets. So first things first, we're going to go to discard, and we're going to look in Golgari, and we're going to look at elves. I want specifically elf first. So there's a decent amount of, and by that I mean there's 4 that are actually happy running. So let's talk about Llanowar Mentor. This is a single green for an elf. It's a shapeshifter, which is there's a deep cycle of these. Ooh, Necroplasm sideboard card against rhinos. Ooh, Roberto, I love that. Let's talk about Llanowar Mentor. Single green, 1/1, shapeshifter. There's a cycle of these. Green and tap, discard a card, create a 1/1 green elf druid creature token named Llanowar Elf. So interesting, this actually makes cards named Llanowar Elves. They have the name. That's quite cool. But effectively, this is a discard outlet. It's a slow one. We will add some more. We will add some better ones in a moment. But in this deck, it is an elf that, if it's in the graveyard, cool. It buffs up the A-bomb. If it's in play, cool. It buffs up the A-bomb. But also, it's a discard outlet for our dredges in our hand. So we can dredge a card back at the start of turn, discard it, ready to be dredged next time we would draw, and it's making us Llanowar Elves. It's making us more bored. It's making us more elves. So it's a little slow. Yes, it's a little slow. But it is a discard outlet on an elf, and that little synergy is everything for us. It's filling multiple gaps. It's deck building, my lads. Alright, Green Seeker, similar type of thing. Green Seeker, single green, elf shapeshifter, 1/1. Green and tap, discard a card, search your library for a basic land, reveal it, put it into your hand, then shuffle. What I was saying earlier about dredges causing us to not hit our land drops, Green Seeker lets us hit our land drops. It's not ramp, it's letting us hit our land drops, but it's still a discard outlet, and we love that for us. So you can get in. Alright. Now they get a little bit more ropey. Actually, Fauna Shaman's a busted magic card. Fauna Shaman, 1 green, 2/2. Elf Shaman, green and discard a creature card. Search your library for a creature card, reveal it, put it into your hand, and shuffle. So this is the fixed Survival of the Fittest. We probably won't have Survival of the Fittest in this deck, just because power level. Like, I kind of want this deck to be roughly like a 2. But I think we could very easily tune this up or down. But Fauna Shaman, phenomenal card. It's a tutor. To be honest with you, there's like, what this will do for us is it'll probably come in first turn, either discard a dredger or tutor up a dredger. Then it will just keep looping that dredger around as we. Oh, come here, you. Meow. It'll keep looping a dredger while getting us elves to play. So it could get us it could get us some ramp. It could get us a wink on later in the game. That's all pretty solid. Leeson on a Scarblade. Tap. Discard an elf card. Target creature gets -X/-X until end of turn where X is the number of elves you control. So we're going to put this in discard outlets. However, it is also interaction. It's a little slow at both. Like, it's 3 mana. But it does overlap. Like, again, synergy. It overlaps, and that's pretty nice. So that's 4 discard outlets. I think I said we needed 8. There are some other ones, like this technically would do work, but I don't think it's very good. And all the rest. Oh, actually, hold on. Borderland Explorer. I think I like this one in the deck. 1 and a white, 3/1. When it enters the battlefield, each player may discard a card. Each player who discarded a card this way may search the library for a basic land, reveal it, and put it into their hand. So again, based case scenario, basically, the floor for this card is it's an elf in the deck that wants to run as many elves as possible. That's the floor of this card. But the use case for it will be it comes in, discards a card. Hopefully that's a dredger. If not, it doesn't matter. It's an elf. We'll discard. We have things to discard. We have dredgers, and we have a bunch of elves that we'll be adding in a moment that we want to be discarding. This lets us hit our land drops, and that is very important. This is also going to be a very low land count deck for what it's worth, because it's elves. Alright, so we have 5 elven discard outlets. Let's get some premium ones now. We're not faffing around now. So the rest I want to be free. So let's search by EDH rank. So none of these are good free ones. What I'm looking for is Tortured Existence. Phenomenal magic card. I'm assuming this has gone up in price quite a bit recently. $10. Wow. I'm glad I played this in Pauper about 6 or 7 years ago. So I've had 4 floating around for quite a while. They're all indexed or cubes, so maybe we'll need to get another one. But Tortured Existence, a phenomenal magic card. Black, choose and discard a creature card. Return target creature card from your graveyard to your hand. So for single black, you just swap a creature from your graveyard and your hand around. Great at swapping, like a dredger for an elf card or a utility card that we've milled. Phenomenal magic card. The fact it's a common is wild. Like, this is stronger than, and so much more synergistic than so many cards. And just the vibe, actually, like, this is peak vibe early Magic. Like, you understand this card just by looking at it. There are terrors lurking in the unseen corners of us all. That is dark as hell. Alright, we're probably not going to add the survival, even though I did trade for one a while ago, and I love it, but it's already in a commander deck, it's accounted for, we can't just leave it up in everything. But survival would be phenomenal in this deck. Survival is a card you would add if you want to power this up to be like a tier 3. Pack Rat's kind of vibey. Alright, we're not getting the cards I want, because I think we've searched for this incorrectly. So we want discard, and then the semicolon. I want free discard outlets. I don't have to pay. Oh, discard a card. Why is that the... Alright, I know the card I'm after. Lothless Troll. Phenomenal Magic card. Green and it's a Golgari for a 2/1. Trample. Discard a creature card. It's free. It doesn't matter. You don't have to pay any mana for it. You don't have to tap. It's just free. The rest of the card, don't actually care about. But it says, put a +1 counter on Lothless Troll, and a single black regenerate Lothless Troll. The only thing we care about is the free discard a creature card. Just at any point, at instant speed, you can discard a creature card. You can discard a creature dredger in response to drawing a card with this out. That is what we will be doing. It is great. And then the last one, I think we are one of the best creatures ever printed in Magic. For a long time anyway. Damn you, Sea Drino, you power crept, my boy. Actually, no, they're completely different, but I love this card. This is a phenomenal... I have tried to force this into so many Pauper decks that I should not be. Wild Mongrel, discard a card. That's all we need. It has other 9 decks. Wild Mongrel gets +1/+1 and becomes the colour of your choice until end of turn. Again, phenomenal Magic card. We're running it because it's a free discard outlet. That is great. That is what we want. We're starting with the 8 numbers because it should mean that we should roughly see one in the first couple of turns of the game. We might go up on this, potentially. Because we have got some overlap, like, in theory, Llanowar Mentor... bad, but it is... Oh, no, sorry, it's bad ramp, but it's still ramp. Lissalana, Scarblade is bad removal, but it's still removal. So we have some overlap, so we can probably go up a little bit from there. Alright, so we have... Let's just quickly go over things. So we have our discard outlets and our dredgers. So this is the first part of the game plan. The next part is our self-mill and draw. So... Actually, we probably should start putting some elves into this. For as much as I want to run as many dredges and cool self-mill stuff as possible, we need elves in here. So I think let's find some elves, and we'll probably start doing our ramp as well as we do this, and maybe our recursion, maybe our wincons. But let's just look at some elves. We need to make sure we have a decent... the best one. Marvellous. I think it's just the alphabetically first one. Let's go to EDH rank. Let's get some cool cards in. So... So, our ramp, shockingly, is going to be Mana Dorks. It's going to be a lot of Mana Dorks. So let's get Llanowar Elves in here. Let's tag it up. Change tags. Hashtag ramp. Nope, we did not do anything. Change tag. Hashtag ramp. Click on it. 3rd time's a charm. Love that for us. Cool. So, these are all getting in. Elvish Mystic. Findhorn Elves... We will be running all the bad ones as well. Let's just get all the Mana Dorks in. Arbor Elf. Deathrite Shaman. Good Magic card. Hell yeah. Deathrite Shaman. Ramp, get in. Elves of Deep Shadow. Fixes us for black. Yeah. We love that. Priest of Titania. Also love that. Tap to add a green for each elf on the battlefield, including all of our opponent's elves. So that's also great. Love that. We generally want these to be 1 mana unless... that they're either 1 mana unless they make us a bucket load of mana. So this can make us an obscene amount of mana. Same with Elvish Archdruid. Tap to add a green for each elf you control, and other elves you control get +1/+1. So it's also a Lord. Again, we want elf win cons, this also gets in there as well. So, I don't think we're Devoted Druid. We could Devoted Druid, just because we're in the colours for a Quill Spike combo. Potentially, we might come back to that one. Right. Ooh, Boreal Druid, you're getting in. Single green, taps to add a mana. That is exactly what we want. I think we should probably actually do this by... Let's do it by mana value, because I do want the 1-drop. So we have 9 bits of ramp right now. See if there's anything obvious that we've missed. We have Elvish Mystic. Elvish Pioneer. Again, what a magic card. Hello, small cat. Are you well? Are you well? I don't think we can do Heritage Druid stuff. Ooh, here we go. The Green Soul Ring, Jiraga Tree Speaker. Single green, 1/1, level up, 1 green, taps to add, 2 green, you never... And then if it... In Commander, we could level 5 this, actually, if we put all the mana into it. Elves you control have tap to add 2 green, so each elf. We can make our Voltron Commander tap for mana, hooray! This is a great magic card. Yeah, the Green Soul Ring, let's get in. We're not... we're probably not actually running Soul Ring in this deck. That's my hot take. We're not running Soul Ring or Arcane Signet. I don't care if it's wrong. They're not elves and they're not dredgers, therefore they don't get on their list. Yes, BC Aftermath Analyst. That will be getting in. We'll probably... Ooh, that could probably be a touch of Self-Mill, actually. We'll probably get to that one in a moment, but... Yeah, this can fall under Self-Mill, but is a nice little ramp our whole deck type jobby, so let's get you in. This will be our first of our Self-Mill cards. This is definitely a card that has been printed since I built this initially. So this is a big upgrade, because it's an elf, importantly. It does a bit of self-mill. And it can also just get all of our lands back, which is kind of nuts if you think about it. Like, so many of my dredge decks, again, really struggle with lands, and you really end up relying on... Like so many times in like stuff like Canadian Highlander, I find myself tutoring for Life from the Loam, just to kind of get that engine and just be able to hit my land drops, whereas Aftermath Analyst, really good at that. Great card. This is definitely a card that we're going to be like, that we would like Tortured Existence back for. Let's go back to our list, sort by EDH rank. And yeah, we'll kind of just start going down and see what's good. So, Beast Whisperer, I think I like, for some card draw. The self-mill and card draw is kind of combined, primarily because we can replace every draw with a dredge. So anytime you see the word draw out, anytime we put it in the deck, if we have dredges in the graveyard, cool, we're going to be dredging. If we don't have dredges in the graveyard, then we'll just, fine, draw some cards, boo. But yeah, Beast Whisperer gets in. Again, very solid magic card. What's this card draw? Oracle of Mooly Dooley I do like, but I don't think is what we want. 4 mana is quite a lot. Savala might actually not be that bad. When it enters battle, I draw a card if it's powered greater than each other power. But green and tap, add X mana in any combination where X is the greatest power among creatures you control. In theory, our command is going to be getting pretty big, but that might just be gilding the lily a little bit. That might just be a bit too... I don't think we need that. This isn't a super mana-intensive deck, and like a lot of stuff like the engines of like discarding, dredging back doesn't really require actually that much mana. You'd be surprised how much you can do with very little mana in this deck. And we have things like Priestess Titania to make us, and Elvish Archer to make us an obscene amount of mana. I don't think we need it. Hold on, Arya's elf. Only cares about black creatures. Ooh, that's spice. I don't hate that, but I don't think that's where we are right now. Springboom Druid I like, but I don't think this is this deck. Disciple of Freyles. It's free because it's a land. When it enters the battlefield, you may sacrifice another creature. If you do, you gain X life and draw that X cards with X of that creature's power. And it's a land. I don't hate this. Like, honestly, like a commander is only 3 mana, and it could be, like, even if it's just an 8/8. That's pretty good. Disciple of Freyles probably gets in. We'll put it in the self-mill card draw, but it's kind of a freebie. I don't think we're Marwyn big mana. Marwyn is a great card in a regular Elf Ball deck, but this is a touch different because of everything else that we're doing. We might come back to Marwyn, I feel. Oh, has this gone down in price? I never actually got one of these. Oh, 30 quid, boo. I should just proxy this. Always been randomly expensive, this card. Yeah, we will. I think we will come back to Lords in a little bit. Elvish Visionary comes in, draws a card. Here's an elf. I think I like that. It's just 2 mana as well, which is great. Ooh, Nissa. Nissa slaps. Whenever a land you control, when a land ends better you control, add 1 mana of any colour, then the second time this ability is resolved, this turn, reveal the top of your library until you reveal an elf or an elemental card. Put the card in the bottom. Put the card in your hand and the rest in the bottom of your library. This is a very powerful card. I don't think we're here for that yet. Leaf Crown Visionary, I think I like. Whenever you cast an elf spell, you may pay green, draw a card. That draw a card means dredge. So therefore, you are self-mill. We love that. Azuri as the win con. We'll come back to that. Underarm Leech might let us know back up. I think let's be good and let's just actually type in draw. Or draw. Let's see what elves actually draw cards. There's 37 of them. Cool. This is should be a nice little easy. Oh, actually, Glisser. When it deals combat damage to a player, choose 1, draw a card, lose 1 life. I think I just want it on ETB. Or an ability that doesn't require attacking. So, Llanowar Visionary draws a card and is ramp. Nice little crossover. We love that. Ooh, Shadowheart. 1 black, sacrifice another creature, draw its cards, rex that creature's power. Again, that's going to be pretty solid with our commander. Self-mill, draw card. Azoni? Are we in a Zoni deck? When it enters the battlefield, create a 1/1 black and green insect creature token for each creature card in your graveyard. So it doesn't make us elves, but it is an elf, and it does have Golgari, sack another creature, you gain a life and draw a card. I don't hate that. I think we have to put that in like win cons though. Just in graveyard win cons. It is rewarding us for having a bunch of stuff in our graveyard. I don't hate that. Graveyard win cons. That's pretty vibey. It could come out, but worst case, it's an elf we mill over. It is a top end as well. Alright, let's get some more good card drawn here, because what we have, 7 bits. Ideally, these would be all be on elves, but I am kind of realistic. Ooh, Heart Warden. That was in my first ever deck. In that deck, there is an Heart Warden on the shelf, on the wall. Right. How many of my elves are druids? I can't be able to work out that. Whenever a non-token elf or berserker you control dies, you draw a card and lose a life. That's pretty good. I'm thinking. What do we want? Yeah, I think let's do Skemfar Avenger. I think that might be it for the card draw. Let's do Mill. Because in this deck, our graveyard is an extension of our hand. So let's see what elves mill. Oh yes, Glowspore Shaman. This is a great one. When Glowspore Shaman enters the battlefield, you mill 3 cards and you put a land card from your graveyard on top of your library. Phenomenal. And Karga, yeah, this one's probably getting in. Karga Shadow Archdruid. It gains Death Touch. Whenever it attacks, it gains Death Touch on the turn and mill 2 cards. And once during each of your turn, you may play a land or cast a permanent spell from among cards in your graveyard that are put there from the library this turn. So this is quite a good bit of card advantage actually, because if we mill, like if we dredge on upkeep, if we dredge in our draw step, with this in play, anything we put into our graveyard we can play or cast. If it's a land or a permanent, that's pretty good. I think I really like this actually. It's a nice bit of utility. So it is card advantage. It mills, it does everything that we want. I think that's probably, yeah, we have our 10 bits. How is the curve on this deck? Phenomenal. Look at that! The joys of playing an elf deck. You have a lot of 1s and 2s. Marvellous. Alright, so we have our self-mill. I think we need recursion. Let's do some recursion. So, what do we want? Type return graveyard. Let's see what elves do this. So I'm assuming we can run Eternal Witness. Eternal Witness is an elf, isn't it? Or is it a human? Don't randomly be a human. That'd be really annoying. It probably is, isn't it? Eternal Witness is going to be a human, isn't it? Boo! Despite clearly looking like an elf. Why are you a human? Clearly an elf. Alright. So I think we run Evolution Witness. It's slow, but it is an elf that lets us bring stuff back from the bin. That's fine. Recursion. What else do we have? So this is going to be a Jared deck. Guess a +1/+1 for each creature card in your graveyard. 1 and a Golgari, sack another creature. Each opponent loses life equal to sacrifice creature's power, and you can sack a swamp and a forest to return this to the graveyard from the graveyard to your hand. So we'll add it in now just so we don't forget. But this is going to be a graveyard-based win con. Jared throwing our commander at each opponent is pretty good. Golgari Finebroker is a fine card, even if the mana is dreadful. Black, black, green, green, 3/4. When it enters the battlefield, return target permanent card from your graveyard to your hand. Good if we mill... Like, to be honest, this is probably getting back something like, I don't know, Priest of Titania or Beast Whisperer. It's just a way of... That's what it's here for. It's not super splashy, it's just... It will be fine. So 2% recursion. We can probably get some just solid bits in now. I think let's go... I'm feeling a Dread return. Fantastic if we mill it. It has 4 mana, return the target creature card from the graveyard to the battlefield, or flashback, sack 3 creatures. We are probably going to have 3 creatures in this deck in play. We have a lot of cheap elves and a lot of worst case dredges that we're fine putting back into play, or fine going back to the graveyard. So you can be some recursion. Are we just is it just reanimate for the last bit? I'm kind of is that lazy just having... I think we actually want recursion that can hit multiple things. So there's an enchantment also on the wall, actually, behind me. Phyrexian Reclamation. This might be where we go with this. So the Urza Legacy one, again, in my first deck, is there. Next to Rancor. Below the best card of all time, Ancient Silverback. Sorry, I was nowhere near the mic there. I hope you could hear that. But yeah, there's a Phyrexian Reclamation on the wall. I think this might be where I go with this. This could be a little... Because it's not a creature... And it's not... I'm putting this in because it's repeatable. Like, I'm putting it in even though I know if this goes to the graveyard, it's gone. So this has to be a card that we kind of see early. But if we do see it, it will be great because we can just put mana into this and just... Like, 2 mana is so cheap and we don't care about the life loss. Just return any of our elves that we've milled from our graveyard back to our hand, and then we can just cast them again. I'm going to put this in here because I like it. You could replace this with any other bit of recursion that you wanted. So that's our recursion done. Let's do our interaction. Let's just be good. Let's just firstly see elves with the word destroy. Must be some. Right, we're going to be very good at removing artifacts and enchantments in this deck. Rex Sage is going to get in. It is still a fine magic card. And it's an elf. Base case scenario, it is an elf. It is elf. Alright. What else is fine? Alright, Eyeblight's ending, destroy target non-elf creature. Importantly, this is a tribal instant, or a kindred instant. This must have been errated. So, our commander cares about elf cards in the graveyard. So even though this is an instant, this is an elf card in the graveyard. Perfect. Absolutely perfect. And if we come up against the other elf deck at the table, then we should be fine. Yeah, everything else is... We can really wreck some artifacts or enchantments. What is this? When it enters, destroy target non-elf creature an opponent controls with power X or less, where X is the number of lands you control. 4 mana is a lot. Its power is equal to the number of lands you control. No, that is a bad Magic card. I'm not super hot on this card. 5 mana menace. When it enters battle, you may destroy target non-elf creature whose power and toughness aren't equal. We'll put it in because it is an elf and it will do for the time being. We only have currently 3 bits of interaction, so the next part we're just going to go for good bits. So screw it, I'm loading up my cube and taking the best bits of interaction out of that. This part is, I'm fine it not being on an elf because sometimes we do just need to remove things. So Bitter Triumph is a good shout. As initial cost of the cast spell, discard a card. That's pretty good. I forgot I need to actually start typing them in now, better because you can't drag and drop from Cube Cobra. You're pretty good. Infernal Grasp again, just solid. Let's just let's do destroy. We want these to be on instants where possible. Before we get onto the board wipes. EDH rank, let's see what we got. So, yeah, Beast Within gets in, hits anything, we're fine with that. Interaction. Assassin's Trophy, great card. I'm so glad this is now cheap. Like, a couple of quid. This was, ooh, we can get the Assassin's Creed one! Yes! Love that for us. Interaction. So I generally like to run 7 bits, no, 8 bits of targeted removal, 1 or 2 bits of board wipe. So we don't need Withering Torment because we have the ability to remove artifacts and enchantments. So I think it's Fell the Profane. Just a very solid card. I mean, let's just see. Let's just be sensible and destroy what other ways of discarding there are. That can't. Okay. What does Sabu's Decree do? Choose a creature type, target player's will to their hand, and discards all creature cards of that type. Then destroy all creatures of that type that player controls. No, we're not running that. Where were the good cards? Oh, don't tell me. Ah, boo. Alright. Alright, let's go back. Let's go back. I swear there was more, but hey ho. I think we do Fell the Profane because it's also a land. 2 MDFCs? Ooh, we are... Call me Captain Command Zone. We're playing, we're building a proper deck. And the curve, again, just so good. You absolutely love to see it. Alright, so we, board wipes. Board wipes. Destroy all? Or is it destroy each? Let's do destroy all for the time being. EDH rank, please and thank you. There can't be any elves that do this, can there? There's no elven board wipes. What are we doing here? Are we just being really lazy with this? Are we just Damnation, Toxic Deluge? Is that what we're doing? Is there anything more thematic? I swear there is a... No, hold on. There is a... Yeah, actually, I think we can Kindred Dominance. Choose a creature type, destroy all creatures that aren't of the chosen type. Like 7 mana is a lot, but it is effectively a one-sided board wipe. There is a world where we kill our dog, and that is not... I'm actually stunned at myself for saying that sentence. That will never happen. We will find a way... We will give Wild Mongol protection before we put it in. But yeah, Kindred Dominance seems like a great shout. And then we probably need to go cheap. Let's just do Toxic Deluge. Again, you can put whatever board wipes you like in here. I think these are two solid ones. Going one cheap, one expensive seems pretty fine to me. I find 8 bits of interaction, 2 board wipes to be a fine number. Some playgroups need more. We are quite a creature-dense deck. Like we have a lot of creatures, so board wipes will kind of hurt us quite badly. But that's what Phyrexian Reclamation and Dread Return and this kind of stuff is for. So that's not too bad. Right. So we need some win cons now. So we need some elf-based win cons. So this should be pretty straightforward. I think did we have one already? Do we have one? Equip your dog with the Amorphous Axe. What's Amorphous Axe? Oh! That's kind of hot. Turn it into an elf. Dog is elf now. I'm here for that. Nice. Alright. We need some elf-based win cons. So these will be overrun effects. Primarily. Because we are going wide. So we will get to the Voltron ones in a moment. But we are going wide with our elves. So we might as well kill our opponents. Yeah, so let's just do plus. That should work for the time being. That should work. We will get some counter stuff in here, but we can ignore that. So, this is where, like, Lords and stuff are going in, but I think it's specifically, yeah, stuff like Jiraga Warcaller. Has this card aged too much? Green, multi-kicker, when it enters the battlefield with a +1 counter for each time it was kicked. Other elves you can get +1 for each counter on it. Tyvar the Pummeler seems like a good new one. Tap another untapped creature you control. Tyvar the Pummeler gains indestructible until end of turn, and tap it. Creatures you control get +X until end of turn, where X is the greatest power among creatures you control. So this with our commander, if our commander's an 8/8, this gives them all +8/8 for 5 mana. That's pretty good. Oh, actually, hold on. There is a combo with this. We don't have any elf-based win cons. There's a combo with this. This and Devoted Druid. And a creature with 5 power is infinite mana. Yeah, so Tyvar must be on the battlefield, Druid must be on the battlefield, and you need 5 mana to activate this ability. Activate Tyvar by paying 3 green, giving creatures you control at least +5/+5. So you need a 5-powered creature on the board. Activate Devoted Druid ability. So this does make us infinite mana. A pretty tight little combo. I think we... what's the worst mana dork? We can probably cheat. We could. I think we can put in. Is it Jiraga's more mana than the rest of them? but we don't have Soul Ring. Let's cut Burial Druid. Does this work? Did that work? It worked! Oh my god. I love this. Alright. Ramp. So, we have an infinite mana combo now. Love that for us. Yeah, that's pretty hot. So yeah, this plus our commander, which we'll always have access to as long as it's got 5 or more power, is infinite green mana, infinite power, and toughness on creatures until end of turn. That's pretty vibey. I like that a lot. Dragon Throne of Tarkir. I don't hate that, but I think I kind of want it to be on on elves. Like this is a very solid one. Other creatures. We'd equip our commander with this and then buff up our whole board's power and toughness. I don't hate that, but I think it's more... I think I'd rather have a creature if we're going that way. So, is it Pathbreaker? Ibex, for example? Creatures you control get trample and +X% turn weight to the greatest power among creatures you control. I think this might be more in line with it. Like, yes, it's not an elf, but it's at least a creature, and we have an easier time... Like, this is a perfect Dread Return target, for example. Yeah, I can see Dragon being great in Prosh, but I think we kind of... I think I want them specifically on creatures, just because the amount of stuff going to the bin. This deck has an easier time returning creatures than anything else. So we'll kind of keep that over here, but let's just go down and see what else we have. Because obviously there is just Azuri. Why isn't this? Azuri should be on the first page. There we go. Sorry, I don't recognize the artwork. This is just the classic elf ball win con. It can get in the deck. Elf-based win cons. I think we, yeah, I think we are going to run Pathbreaker. Like this is instead of like Crater Hoof. You could run Hoof in this slot, but we're going to do Pathbreaker IMAX because I think it's a little bit cheaper. We can cast it, and it goes with our commander a bit better. It's leading into the we have a massive creature style of effect, which I think I like. So elf-based win cons. It's not an elf, but it is based around us having a lot of elves. We love that. What are you? Am I meant to have seen that card? Oh, is that from the... What is it? Right, okay, it's that card. Cool. Love that for us. Alright, one more elf-based win con. It might be something like Imperious Perfect. It's just an elf that buffs up our elves and makes us more elves. Nice little mana sink. I don't hate that. We could go Arwen Persist combos, but I don't think there's any elves with Persist. So probably not going to do that. I mean, Elvish Champion, also hot. We have one more of these. What do we like? I think Cultivator of Blades. Actually, Cultivator of Blades is a good shout. When it attacks, you may have other attacking creatures get +X to turn, where X is its power, and it is a 3/3 itself. It is an elf. Is that good? I think we're just gonna. I'm gonna commit to Imperious Prefect is 2 mana. Oh, it doesn't really feel winny though. Damn it! I kind of want another mana sink. Just put a bunch of mana into a creature, win a game. Why is this annoying me? You know what? If there isn't one that's sticking out to me, we'll leave it as it is for now. Or we can just put an overrun in or something like that. We can come back to that later. But let's do our Voltron win cons. Actually, yeah. I want some room, actually, because there's a couple of ones I want to put in. So, firstly, there's a card I want to add to this deck, because it's a graveyard-based deck. I want to add Brawn. 3 and a green, trample. As long as Brawn is in your graveyard and you control a forest, creatures you control have trample. I really like that. I think that's great. Elf-based. This is a graveyard. Oh, no, sorry. This is a Voltron. This is effectively a way of giving our commander... trample. Voltron. Let's just call it Voltron. Alright. What else do we want for Voltron? So, I also want Concordant Crossroads. All creatures have haste. This is phenomenal in an elf deck because it gives all of our mana dorks haste. It gives our beefy commander haste. If we get it into... if we fill up our graveyard, we can... If we fill up our graveyard, and we have... The plan with this is... Sorry. If we fill up our graveyard... and we have a Brawn in there as well, we just play our commander, and it can attack straight away, and it has trample. That's quite scary. So let's get Concordant Crossroads in here. Concordant Crossroads is Voltron. I think I then want plus X graveyard. There is a bestow creature that gives a creature +X where X is the number of creatures in your graveyard. Yeah, so like Night Howler, I think it is. I think I want Night Howler. A giant creature gets +X where X is the number of creatures cards in your graveyard. So with all the self-mill, we can stick this on our commander and we can kill someone with it. The other thing as well is Night Howler is also a great thing because it itself will just have +X. It's a great thing to throw at people with Jared. You can just pay its ability, throw it at people with Jared. That will take out a lot of people. One more. So we're just looking at specific win cons now, I think. Well, we're actually doing pretty well. This might be the part where... So I don't think EDH Rec is going to be building this as we have been. It's not going to be anywhere near the Dredge style of things. But let's just have a look and see if there's anything obvious that we've missed. There's probably a couple of elves or something like that. These cards aren't good. Oh, come on. Give me some high synergy cards. Okay, it's just out. Oh, okay. Ooh, alright. Shaman of the Pack, 100% yes. I love this card. Get in my deck. This was my first modern deck. Shaman of the Pack. When it enters, target opponent loses life equal to the number of elves you control. We're going to have a lot of elves. That seems pretty good. It is an elf-based win con. I didn't add Lathril. When it does come to make that many elves. Tap 10 untapped elves you control. Each opponent loses 10 life and you gain 10 life. That's another pretty solid elf-based win con. Don't like Dwynen. And now we just get into the stuff that we've already looked at. I think this is pretty solid. Yeah, so we could add... We're not going to add these as our game changers. So in this, for game changers, you could add a proxy of Gaia's Cradle, a demonic tutor. Yeah, a few more tutors. And you could also add... Survival would be a great game changer in here. That's probably going to be... We're on 62. We're on 61. We have room for a couple more. Elvish Dreadlord is a nice little board wipe, but it's quite expensive. Why would channel another early card that I played with? Ooh, I've not actually played with Galadrim Brigade before. That does seem pretty good. Sorry, I'm just going down a rabbit hole of I like all these elves. Let's add the Jiraga Tree Speaker. It does what we want, and it's an elf. I think that's probably pretty nice. Although because our curve is so good, we do just have room. That curve is phenomenal. Let's just add 1 or 2 more good elves, and then I think we'll call it. Actually, we can get our lands from here as well. Are there any obvious lands, any obvious elves that we've missed? No, not really. Yeah, I'm kind of fine with this. All right, I think this is a good starting point. Let's go to lands and let's just get things in here. I'll probably finish off the lands at some point later today. 'Cause I don't want any tap lands. Going to be a pretty solid, pretty budget mana base. Guildleaf Palace must get a reprint. Overgrown Tomb is 18 quid. That's annoying. We're not going to add Temple of Milady. Tainted Wood is great. There's plenty of cards that don't enter tapped that we can run. Twilight Mire. Oh, Twilight Mire is only $2 now. That is great. Unclaimed Territory is great. Exotic Orchard is free. Secluded Courtyard is cheap. Surveil lands are so expensive. Reprint these already. Well, Blooming Marsh, quick one. I think that's probably a cheeky Bayou. Anyone? Probably more than the whole rest of the deck but combined. Nurturing Peatland. Marvellous. So I'll add a bunch of forests and swamps to this and tag all that up. But I think this is pretty good. I might look at maybe one more Voltron card. Just because, like a similar type of effect like this. But I think this is... I am here for this. The curve is phenomenal. We'll be adding a bunch more forests than we are swamps, just because that's what the breakup of the deck is. But I think this is great. This is everything I want from this type of deck. So again, we have our commander. It's going to get massive. It's going to get huge. We're going to be filling up our graveyard with the dredges. We're going to be discarding. We have all this awesome self-mill / card draw and all the card draw. Ideally, every place of draw a card we're going to replace with discard a card. Do we be cheeky? Do we just add a proxy Bazaar of Baghdad in here and really go to town? Ooh. Magic the Gathering, everyone. But yeah, I am in love with this deck. This is one I made this list because I'm actually going to be building this. This is one I want to play again. I really miss this deck. It was really fun. I love elf decks. I love dredge decks. Combine, beautiful. We love it. That's going to do it for today. Thank you all very much for watching. So we might finish up spoiler talk tomorrow if there's some cool ones. If it's just all the commons and uncommons and not that interesting, we might do something else. We might continue with our cube. We might build a commander from the set. Let me know. Let me know in the comments. Let me know in the chat what people would like to see. Happy to oblige. But until then, you enjoy the rest of your day, and we'll see you all soon. Goodbye.